so we'll keep it just for a bit, as we do have words that kind of fit. If you can, make a better one, send it in, and that'll be fun, because we'll use it, get everyone laughing, because this one is embarrassing. TJ, I thought you could dance at this bit.
No.
TJ, are you dancing?
No, I'm not.
So come along and watch us code, make some stuff, and help you know that not much rhymes with draft will make game for a laugh.
Yeah.
Woo! Hello. Okay, as we're saying, we're making a game about stress. This is the final session of it. If we don't get it done, we will not stress. Although finishing stuff is totally always a stress. We have got this big kind of fade, which is all it is a black square with a white area cut out of it, feathered, as we learned in Photoshop, feathering, which is I'll do the feathering is the fading from being solid to sort of see through. It's feathered to give an effect of being able to see through it, and that's on a layer above everything else. And we have some children that fly up and a hedgehog, and at the moment we don't really have any creation or anything. There's no game as such. We've just tested the game mechanics of being able to knock children around and rotate a bat. Whee. There you go. Although, interestingly, when I hit that kid, the stress area got smaller. Do you see? Like, watch this. Dun dun dun. And it got smaller only in one way. Dun dun dun.
It's almost like it's saying children progressively get more stressed the longer they're on the bouncy castle.
Or the more you hit a kid, the more stressed you get. I don't know. Anyway, do not hit kids. There we go. That's my advice. Even if you are a kid. Even if you are a kid. So I think we have got an issue here. So if we have a look at the line, when the bat hits any of the good items, the stress area shrinks. And we're only changing. If you have a quick look there, do you see X scale? X scale, which is not a rubbish sequel to X-Men. Although there were many rubbish sequels to X-Men. X scale... we need to set just the pure scale. So I'm going to put this down into this area, and I am going to edit the command. Just right clicked and chose edit. And I'm going to get rid of that. Actually, I can't edit it because it's on X scale. I need to. I'll pop teach out the way for this. I need to set the scale. Set the scale, not the X scale, the whole scale to that. Now I'm only getting one scale from the object, and I'm minusing 0.05 from it, whatever it is, because you can't get a full scale. X and Y scales are individual, the width and the height, so it's width scale, the X scale. Cool, that was a lot more complicated than I thought it'd be. So there we go. Now, theoretically, can we squish the bug? So I'm hitting the kid, no stress going down, hitting the hedgehog. If I actually rotate around this way, I can probably, oops, there we go. And the centre of stress gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's what I was expecting. Oh, we've got a limit there, so I think we fixed one bug, squish, but
the whole screen was shrinking.
Oh, maybe it was just an effect of watching the bouncy castle. The stress thing shrinked. Did other things shrink as well, do you think? Or are you just going crazy? Okay, well, I don't know. I'll have to watch it back, TJ.
It looked like the whole application screen was shrinking with it.
Yeah. Well, that would be exciting. We can do that. That is something you could do. That'd be really interesting if you play a game and it starts resizing to be smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
We can do that for Windows, but we can't do that online. But that would be a neat feature to have your application, or just minimizing itself halfway through playing, like when you get to a difficult bit. It's like, where's it gone? That would definitely cause stress. But one of our rules of our games at Impact Gamers is that we don't wind up the player on purpose. So I'm not sure we'd be allowed to do that. But it'd be a great April Fool's joke. So okay, right. So we just need a new condition to check this scale of this object. And so, because you can't check in conditions for scale, it's just not there, we have to just put it in an always rule. So we can always, and we have to do it in two parts. On this, just behind me, I'm choosing the stress view. I'm just moving myself out of the way again. Boop. So I've selected the stress view, and we're going to give it a variable called my scale. We can't choose scale. It's my. Oh, this is the wet keyboard. This is the water I spilled on my keyboard. No. Scale CV. Every time I press an enter, it adds a CV. I'll try using the other enter on the other side of the keyboard. Yeah, no, that's not wet. Good. My scale. Always set the ultra values. Set my scale to be whatever its X scale is, which is the same as the Y scale because they change together. And then new condition, if your ultra values, if your X, my scale, is equal or lower than. We made it 4 times bigger, so it's 1 divided by 4. So ladies and gentlemen, give us a shout out. Yeah, 0.25. Oops. My wet keyboard giving me all the numbers there. It's just as many numbers as possible. 0.25. So if it's got to that, then set the scale. Set scale to be 0.25. So it can't go below. Oh, it's adding all the numbers back in. And then the CV. Do not spill water on a keyboard. If you do, I'd probably unplug it and put it on a radiator. But if you've got a live stream happening 5 minutes later, just shake it about as much as possible. That didn't help much.
Shake it off, as Taylor Swift would advise.
She would. That's the lovely Swift. Right, here we go. Let's see if we can shrink it down to the minimum. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Lovely. That's the smallest we can get. Yeah. Right, okay. I will declare that bug fixed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now we just need to create a random spawning for the characters. There's lots of different ways you can do this. One way is mathematically, that we could just spawn something and set it to a random value of X coordinates. So we randomly choose across the screen. The other way is we create an active object. So if I just go back to frame 1, and I'm going to turn off frame 2, just so I can see what's happening. What we sometimes do is we pop an active object in. We'll just call this spawner. Or, well, depends what. Spawner CV. Great. Bloomin'. Spawner, and then use the other enter. Yeah, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a path movement. Path movement means it goes that way, and then we're gonna set it to loop and reverse at the end, and set its speed to be really fast. So it's going to go back really quickly, back and forth, and we're going to use this to create. So we then need to have a random time. So should we have it just the randomness staying the same throughout? Might as well.
Yeah, keep it random.
Keep it simple. Okay. So we'll say every, and we'll use the timer for this rather than just randomness, because just depending on the compute speed, it'll be difficult to work out. So every, and then we're going to insert a random X out of Y chances. There's a 1 in, if there's 100, that'd be every second. That seems too much. So maybe 1 in 300. Oh, 300, I can't write the 3. I'm going to move over to the number pad here. 300. So that's about, if that's 100th of a second, 1 in 300 means on average about every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds we will create an object, we'll create the boy, and all we'll do now is just say we'll create him wherever the spawner is. Fine, sorted. And now we will copy and paste this, a couple of times, and we will say there's a 1 in 300 chance that, I don't want to edit it, I want to replace it. You can't edit, you can edit the position, but you can't edit the object. Make a girl. There, great. And then, gonna sneeze.
That's you.
Elbow sneezing. The things you do in lockdown, not in your hands, into your elbow. So I will wash my elbow later if anyone's concerned about my hygiene. But I'm just not going to touch anything with my inside of my elbow. Right, so make the hedgehog. Make the hedgehog. Create object. Hedgehog. Okay, so there's a 1 in 3 chance of any of them being spawned. So that probably means every second something is spawned. So that could be a bit crazy, actually. I should have thought about that. Maybe I should make it 3 times less likely. Oops, there's the first lot. Oh, there's another kid. Goes straight down. There's a hedgehog. Oh, there's a girl. Hey, boo. There's a boy. Woo. Yeah, no, this timing's right. There's a hedgehog. Leave him. There's a hedgehog. Leave him. There's a boy. Boo. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's a girl. She's just fallen off the tram. Boo, 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 boo. Yay. Yeah, that works fine. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that, actually. Oops. Oh man, it's got
As soon as you said, "I'm happy with that,"
it just said
chaos.
So everyone everywhere. Right, okay, I'm happy with those. So every time that we hit a kid, now I know that sounds wrong, guys, but every time that the bat protects the kid from falling off the trampoline or hit a kid, then I think that I'm not going to bother giving any points, actually. That's not going to get the points. I'm going to say that if any of the good things, if they go back down off the bottom of the screen, then you get a point. So score, add to score. Let's give yourself 10 points. Or 10 CV. 10 CV! 10, stop with the wet keyboard, just adding C's and V's everywhere. Right? But if they go off the left or right, then at that point, if they go off the left or right, we want to take some time away, maybe? Subtract from score. How much time do we take away for a hedgehog? We take away 10. So let's take away 5. 5 the other side of the keyboard. Let's take away 5 if they leave left to right. And then if the hedgehog goes down on the bottom, that's bad. What we want to do is we want to at that point we'll shrink the screen. That's what we'll do. We will shrink the screen at that point every time a hedgehog goes down, and do it that way. Not every time you touch a hedgehog, because you will need to hit the hedgehog. So that the mechanics won't work. And also this needs to be anything that's bad. And the hedgehog is in the bad group. Hence why these don't look like kids and that doesn't look like a hedgehog. Oh, it's a bad hedgehog. And so that's it. And if he goes off on the left or the right, we'll give you some points. Not as many as the kids, but maybe 3 points. Well, 365, just because my keyboard hates me. Right, good. So that means that we've got a scoring system that works on the game. Oh, also I need to not start off with kids at the beginning. That's very annoying. Wee. Great. Okay, this is good. That kid I didn't think was going to come back. Great. I feel happy with this. I'm not seeing many hedgehogs though. I don't know where they are. Getting a ridiculous amount of points. Oh, there's the hedgehog. I need to get him off the screen. Perfect. Good. All good in the hood. Go on, hedgehog. Off you go. Great. Oh, it hit the ground. So, for a player, it's okay, but we're not really getting any feedback. Now, feedback from a game. What type of things in a game can give you feedback, TJ?
There's the vibration settings for when you're shooting in a game. So
yeah.
Joypad vibrates when you shoot, gives you feedback that way.
Haptic feedback, just shaking feedback, yeah. That's a feedback. We've got visually, we can have score, but visually we can have lots of other things. You can have like splatter come sort of like on the screen. So like if you hit the ground hard in a game, you might have a sort of a splatter to show that you've hit the ground hard, or dust come up. You also, an important one is to do with our ears. And TJ, help me out. What did you grab me, TJ? Just before we started, some sound, yes. So, we've got some different sounds here. Now, they're all in WAV format, which is awesome, which means they should hope straight away. So, I want the kids to give feedback of when you get points because they landed, they're having fun. So, when you hit a kid, and obviously we don't condone hitting kids or hitting anybody, let's have a quick look. These are all off free sound, and so we got baby laughter. Hey. Good. Right, in fact, I'm just going to, because we were messing about with some other stuff before, I've got Audacity open. And if I grab the hee, you might notice it sounds a bit fuzzy. Oh. Opening sound bit. I need to play through. Nope, I can't play through anything. Anyway, I can't play it, but I'll do the modification. I've got a bit of noise on the channel, so I'm just going to select a blank area, choose noise reduction, get noise profile, and then apply it to all of it. So select all of it, repeat noise reduction, and that should get rid of the fuzz of it. Also, it's quite long, so I'm just going to trim it down to that much and export it as a WAV. So Audacity is what we use for sound editing, and it works really well and it's free. I just need to save this in the right place. I'll just grab the folder that I'm in, pop it over here, and we will call it. Oh, I can't copy and paste my my V button on the keyboard is not playing. Paste, and we will call that Giggle CV.
Giggle.
Yeah, this keyboard's gonna really get me mad at some point. Okay, so Giggle CV. Oh, I didn't play that back. There we go. Let's have a listen again. Oh, it's a completely different sound. Right.
Wow.
That's because I loaded up the wrong file because I couldn't listen to it. Anyway, if I load up this one, you can see all this fuzz. Can you see that that's not a flat line? That's fuzz, that is. Now, if I click on noise reduction, get noise profile, then do the same again. Do you see how that's got much thinner there? And that's got rid of a lot of that noise. So there we go. So let's export this one. And this was the one we heard first time. I'm going to do it as a WAV file. Clickteam Fusion can handle MP3s, but I'll just do WAV Giggle 2 CV again. Right, the CV. If you're just tuned in, is because my keyboard's broken, not because I like pressing CV. Now here we go. There you go. Okay, so we'll have this noise when you hit them, and then when they go in the right place. So when they go back on the trampoline, we'll have the other one. Great. And when you hit something that's bad, we will have, we won't have any sound there, but we will have, when it goes down on the bottom, a bad sound. So we've got, what other sounds we got? Now that one didn't play. I think I'll need to load that in Audacity. It might be too high volume. Oh, that's a... Okay, let's have a popping noise. That's good. And when you get some points, we'll have that coin noise. Now that coin noise didn't load in Clickteam Fusion. The fact is Clickteam Fusion can't handle sound files if they're too high quality. And so what we're going to do, my sound device again, I'm just going to change the volume of this. It's very loud. The height of the lines is how loud it is, hence why you want the lines to be low down. So let's make it a bit quieter. And we will just export that selected bit. So this is going to be coin or coin CV. Oh, CV. I can only call it CV because it presses enter as soon as I press that button. Okay, so let's see if it will save it now. And let's have a listen to coin. Oh no, a CV it's called. All right, do you hear how horrible it sounds? We're going to go with it anyway. We're just going to keep it. And then, yep, I'm going to just add another sound. Now, Clickteam Fusion, if you've got it installed using Steam, then you have to go to the Steam folder to find it. Otherwise, you can just go to Program Files and Clickteam Fusion 2.5 free edition, and you can find a samples folder in there. That doesn't have very much. Oh, it might have what we need. Not exactly what I need. So the full version we've got installed through Steam, which is just how would you describe Steam, TJ?
Steam?
Yep.
So Steam is a platform, like it's almost like it's a digital marketplace where you can buy games from. So like you would with an Xbox, you go to a shop or use the Xbox store to download a game. Steam is what PC users use, so it's where the marketplace where you buy your games from. Great,
perfect. Okay, and there's loads of sounds. Ooh. I just want a sound to suggest that bells and horns. That'll do. There'll be a buzz, a beep. Here we go. Oh, that's horrible. That sounds too positive. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice negative buzz. Okay, so now if we run our application, this feedback should help us. It does sound a bit crazy. We're getting an issue that we're getting the pop sound when things enter in off the bottom, even though I've said leaves on the bottom, and it's playing the giggle when things are just coming in and not leaving. So I don't know why it's doing that. There is an option for leaving and there's an option for entering. So that's for oh. Yes, it's because I clicked the wrong one. so I think so. So let's have a look. Leaves the play area on the bottom. Yeah, no, I did choose the right one. Not enters the play area. So I'm not sure why it's playing. Can you hear that, TJ? When we start off, we have this bug. When they enter, so when they leave, you've got the but you're getting all the things when you're getting the giggle as they spawn. But with the spawn command, there's nothing to be played. So I think that because we're using physics, I think that it's dealing with fractions of a pixel. So it thinks, oh, they're in the play area, oh, they're not, oh, they are. So then it's playing the sound as they go in. So I think what we need to do is we need to say that only a new condition that if any of the good stuff, if their Y position, if it's less than, if it's going higher than the frame height, and let's give a border to it, higher than the frame height of minus 20. Oh, CV. Then we'll turn a flag on, and flags are just switches, so just to check. And we'll do the same for any of the hedgehogs. So they won't have a flag on unless they've come high enough onto the screen. Let me put it in the right place under the enemies. And that means that we can check before here. So if they leave on the bottom and their flag is on, that they've come onto the screen. There we go. That should resolve it theoretically. Now, TJ, do you want to pose a question that people can comment on later?
Yeah, so we've covered things to do with ourselves, but what I'd like to know this week is if someone else is stressed, how would you help them calm down?
Oh, yeah. So, and this could get you a Galaxy Smooth Milk sent to your house. Ooh, look at that. One way to de-stress.
Yeah, send a Galaxy to someone, that might change their mood. Right.
Now, my keyboard is now hating me and is now locked on to several buttons, but no, I've got it to work. So there we go. There we go. Right. Good. Right, it's working okay. Oh, go on, hedgehogs, get off. Good. Right, and that's time up. Got to 0, so I just need to probably say when the time gets to 0. Well, I'll say that we can't. What's the best thing? I could destroy the spawner, but will they still spawn? There's one way to find out. So if the time gets to 0 and we destroy the spawner, I think they will still spawn, but it'll just create them in the top left corner. So if I get rid of time. Go, time 0. Yeah, look, I think they're just going to fall from that top corner. Are they? Oh, that seems to have solved it. We will find out at some point. It's too hard to see the timer and the score with the stress. I know I said before that I wanted them covered up. I'm going to change it. I'm going to move their layer. So these can go on top. These can go from this layer. Copy it, Control C and Control V. Oh, I can't use Control C and Control V. They're not working on my keyboard. Turn off. So TJ, how would you de-stress someone?
I think reassuring someone is a good way, like letting someone know that they're not alone and that, you know, resolving it, they're not going to have to overwhelm themselves. So if you try and let someone know that, you know, someone's there and that you understand it is stressful. Telling someone to calm down is probably the worst thing to do. I was about to say.
Yeah,
letting them know you're there and that you understand why they're stressed is actually quite helpful.
Yeah, I think offering to help is probably the advice I would give, and if they don't want to help, just stay out of the way.
Yeah.
So people are very volatile, as in they can get very angry very quickly when they're stressed, and sometimes it's best just to give them space. Right. In this game, though, there's nothing that'll calm them down. So there we go. we can now have the score over there, and that we will destroy these. Now, I have the issue that they can be created too far away from the centre. That means I can't really save them. So all I need to do with my spawner is change that path to be smaller. Like that. And there we go. And now they're not going to spawn in the cornery bits. Right. Let's run my application. It's the hedgehog. Avoid the hedgehog. Oh, no, don't avoid the hedgehog. Whoa, man! Ah! Flipping heck! Right, well, then my time's up already. This timer, I think I'm not going to actually subtract any time from it apart from the actual time, because maybe I'll subtract an extra one for the kids going off. There we go. Right, but yes, that time just went too quick. We've got sound that kind of affects mood in games, but there's something even more powerful than just noises. And what would you say that would be? It's the other thing I got you to get, TJ. Not just sound effects, but...
Oh, so the background music itself.
Yeah, music is a great emotion builder. I don't know, what do you call it?
Atmosphere, yeah.
Atmosphere.
The atmosphere in the game. Music is very good for it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, like music with no pictures, it can still draw emotion. So let's have a quick look at some sounds you got. So that's Mistake the Gateway. Here's the next one. Ooh. The Lift or Mistake the Gateway. Which ones do you think? Oh, no. What
I
one?
was stuck between them. I just picked two, which are good fast-paced tempo, which sounded quite suspenseful.
The Lift is brilliant, but I do think it makes me, if I close my eyes, imagine spaceships.
Sci-fi bouncy castle emulator.
Yeah, change them all to robots. So I'm going to go with Mistake the Gateway, and I'm going to say repeat 0, which is a continuous loop, because every time it checks for how many times it's looped, it will never equal 0, so it'll never stop. Stop it with the CVs. Right, run our application, and I think we're pretty much there. Flipping. This is great. I think it works fine.
That's it. Very
Oh, that's fine. And that's it. So to signify time has stopped, what would you say is a clear way to show that the game's over?
Either big text on the screen saying game over, or maybe even moving to an entire different frame.
Okay, yeah, so that's it. So we could, if we're staying on the frame, stop the music. So I'm going to stop any sample playing there, and then game over. So we'll just do that. So text is not called text in Clicked Infusion. It's got the jargon name for it. It is...
String.
That's it. There we go. There's a string. So strings can be letters, numbers, whatever. Now, time up, I'm going to say, rather than game over, because we're theming everything up. Yeah, that's it. Oh, with the CVs and the Fs and the everything. Right, here we go. Time up. Righty ho. Do comment about how you de-stress someone. TJ's going to check, straight after this, he's going to check the last video to see if we had any comments about... for the chocolate challenge there, but just a reminder of the question, TJ.
How would you de-stress somebody else that is stressed?
There we go. And we gave our thoughts, but add yours in because we don't know everything. Okay, so I've got a time up thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it invisible at start. So under its display options, It's not going to be invisible at the start, and then I'm going to lock it. Now, locking it means that I'm not going to accidentally move it. There we go. It means I can't move it until I hold Control and Shift at the same time and click. And then all I'm going to do is when timer equals 0, visibility, make object reappear. And also, I'm going to say that I only run this event once. I'm going to limit the conditions, run it once, insert an extra clause there. Right, it would work, but it'd just be a waste of time. So, there we go. Well, I lost a few kids there. Right, I could wait for ages, or I could just change the counter. Great. There we go. There we go. Time up. Good. That works. I can also stop the pulsating of the bouncy castle, maybe, to signify that everyone's finished bouncing. So that's just, let's have a look at that. Rule was every 100th of a second. We'll just say that the time needs to be greater than 0 for it to change scale. There we go. So that should do that. Now, one thing that we haven't done in the game is we haven't said what happens when a kid hits a kid. Now, we could just say when an apple hits an apple because they're in a group. For the apple group, the good things, then it saves us doing. We'd have to do 3 rules otherwise. Boy hits a girl hits a girl, boy hits a boy. But we can just do 1. So I'm just going to see what happens if they make each other bounce and see how that works. Just see if it's any better. There's no kids coming now. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I didn't get to see it very much, but I liked it, so I'm going to leave it in. So I'll just leave that extra rule in. If I wanted to take it out, I could just deactivate it, inactivate it. It's a crazy word, don't know why they wrote inactivate. But anyway, that's done. That'll get saved, that'll get uploaded to igamers.io, and we will see you for the final week of Game for a Laugh next week before we break up, before we start a new term of activities in September, and maybe actually get to see some of you in a room. So take care. TJ, any wise words for the weekend?
We're going to say try not to get stressed, but that's a very difficult thing to say, isn't it? But if you do get stressed, try and find a way of calming yourself down, and if someone else gets stressed, try and calm them down.
Bye! I won't get stressed, but it's not playing. This is the intro we did for the show. This is the intro we did for the show, but we're not musical, as you may know. So we'll keep it just for a bit, as we do have words that kind of fit. If you can, make a better one, send it in, and that'll be fun, because we'll use it, get everyone laughing, because this one is embarrassing. TJ, I thought you could dance at this bit.
No.
TJ, are you dancing?
No, I'm not.
So come along and watch us code, make some stuff, and how you know that not much rhymes with draft will make Game for a Laugh.
Yeah.